I think we are on. Hello guys, how are you today? So today we're gonna demonstrate for you how to perfect your read aloud in the exam. For this purpose, I have with me Atiq, who's gonna tell us what our academic department, led by our senior trainer Ribat, has come up with regarding read aloud. Atiq, how are you?
Good evening, Ali. How are we doing?
I'm good, thank you.
Okay, so hi viewers. Hopefully everyone's staying safe and doing okay. So the purpose of today's discussion is to give you insight into the recent findings and research conducted by our academic team, which of course had Ali as well, me, myself, and with the team led by Ribat. So the purpose was to find out what's the best way to get a student their speaking scores or maximize their speaking scores, especially from read aloud. Okay, and what we found out is that there are a lot of arrays and a lot of there are a lot of aspects we have to consider to get the speaking scores. But today, the main, as you can see highlighted in yellow, is that with regards to when you start to speak, and specifically with regards to your oral fluency, it has to be native-like. Okay, and we want to find out a bit more about what native-like oral fluency means. Okay, so if I take you to the next slide, and these are all snapshots from Pearson's website. What they say is that in order for you to sound like a native-like speaker, your speech shows smooth rhythm and phrasing. Okay, so that's the expectation for oral fluency in order for you to get maximum scores or to at least sound like native-like speaker. But it just doesn't stop there, Ali. There are a bit more. If we look into the in depth of our research, what we've gone through and we've deep dived, and what we found out is that it's not just about basic speaking. Your speech and the way you speak, it has to have purpose in it, and you have to be informative. And of course, when you read aloud, your speech rate must be natural to highlight, showcase fluency in your speech. Of course, there is also the matter of using correct intonations as well. So as you can see, there are lots of arrays that goes into how to sound like a native-like speaker. Okay. And what our research indicates that because we have to consider so many elements, there is one top method, and this is the revolutionary method that we came up with that's going to help students to crack speaking and especially do well in read aloud. Would you like to know it, Ali?
I'm so eager to know about it. What is that method?
So, dear viewers, that method in simple terms is what we call as speaking in chunks. Okay, so the art of chunking is what we are going to use in our read aloud. Okay, and what is a chunk, and how can chunking be used in our read aloud, you might ask, Ali. So basically, if you look into the academic definition of chunking, it means is that chunking is a term referring to a process of taking individual pieces of information and grouping them together. So that's the criteria, or that's the concept that we want to use in our read aloud as well. So we're going to try and see if we can group words together in a meaningful manner and deliver them
So you mean that my read aloud passage will be set of chunks?
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
So the passage that, or the paragraph that you'll read, it might have multiple sentences.
Yep.
But rather than just focusing on the sentences, we'd want to break those sentences down into meaningful chunks and then read them as such.
Even with the sentence, I'm gonna have set of chunks.
Yes, exactly. That's what we're going to try and learn,
Right.
and we will demonstrate today, Ali.
Okay.
I believe we are all familiar with chunking when we are doing our repeat sentence, and you are an expert in that regard. And we teach the students, and we did this research with our repeat sentence and how can the students do repeat sentence the best way. And of course, research indicated that chunking was the best method.
Yep.
And you're also familiar, but we are now integrating that to read aloud as well. And so what I want to show you is straight away, Ali, I want to take you to an example, since it's a demo addict series. So nothing will come without a demonstration. So here we go. I have an exam question right here. And as you can see, the paragraph has been replicated. Okay. So the one at the top is just without any color combination, color codes. The one at the bottom right here actually is that same paragraph, but I have different color codes, different color combinations, highlighting different chunks. And the idea is for me to read those chunks at one go, and then move and take a slight pause, and then move on to the next chunk. Okay. So
Okay.
Ali,
Let's go.
let's go ahead. Can you give me a cue?
Okay, in 3, 2, 1, go.
A hazard assessment should be performed for work involving distillations of organic liquids and should thoroughly address the issues relating to residual water and possible decomposition of the solvent in question, as well as the physical placement of the distillation apparatus and heating equipment to be employed.
Uh-huh. Atik, this sounds very natural, very convenient, but out of nowhere, a question came to my mind. You know,
Okay.
we are trainers, we have a lot of experience, we go here and there just to check the best strategy for read aloud.
Mhm.
I have heard, watched, and found a lot of strategies, a lot of institutes telling and advising their students to read in one go. They said
Right,
it. To get your
right,
speaking score, you
right.
need to
Yes,
read very fast in one go and one breath.
right.
Now you reading it very fluently, very
Mhm.
natural. So who's right?
To answer that question, really, I actually again let's do a bit of fact finding. Okay, let's do a bit of fact finding. So the our purpose, right, is to get native like to speak to have a native like response, right? Native like response. Yes,
Yes,
that's what
native
our
like
purpose is.
to get the
Native
highest
like
score.
response to get the high score. Can you, Ali? Okay, find me one native speaker. Bring me one native speaker who speaks this way. Okay,
Okay.
who speaks this way? A hazard assessment should be performed to work involving distillations and organic liquids should be thoroughly address issues relating to.
Okay, stop. No one. No
Can you
way.
can you find me any native speaker who speaks this way? Does it,
Impossible.
that's not the way to
Impossible.
communicate, right? And
Yes.
we are not going outside the parameters of what Pearson expects from us, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
as you can see, what we need to do is we need to maintain smooth rhythm right here.
Mm-hmm.
We need to apply phrasing in our speech, which
Mm-hmm.
is achieved with the help of chunking. And of course, our purpose, why are we doing read aloud? Our objective is to repeat to inform,
To express
repeat
some
to
ideas,
explain,
yeah.
repeat to express. So all those can be achieved. The only way it can be achieved is if you're reading in a very informative manner, and
Mm.
it cannot be achieved if you go like a bullet train.
And this is written
So
on Pearson's
these are
marking
all,
guide.
yes, these are all snapshots from Pearson's marking guidelines.
Okay,
And
does make sense.
so the point being made is that if you go like a bullet train, you're not within the structure of Pearson's marking guideline, and it doesn't make sense, which is the reason why there's a likely chance that you may not get your
Even
scores.
if you think about it technically, who have got a very long breath to read like up to 25 seconds without breathing? I don't know. It doesn't
You
make
tell me,
sense.
it doesn't
Oh,
make it, it
yeah.
doesn't make any sense. And we have found out that in fact the students, they are led to make a lot of content error because they are
Mm.
forced to read
Mm.
nonstop. Okay,
Okay.
so
Okay, this is one of the
that
side
works as a,
effects.
yeah, it's the side effect, and it's a wrong side effect. So let's go ahead and give another example.
Okay, can I just summarize something?
Sure, yes, of
Guys,
course.
please don't read it in one go. That's it.
That's it.
Okay, let's
And
do
as you
another.
can see, Ali, no, just one last point. This paragraph right here, as you can see, this is one sentence paragraph.
Yes.
There's just one punctuation in the middle. There's a comma right there.
Yeah, after question. That's
Find me
right.
somebody who can read, a single paragraph, which is almost 4 lines long under one breath.
It's
And the
impossible.
meaning will change if you try and do that. Okay, so please, students, ideally, that's not what you want to do. Okay, here we go. Another one.
Let's go another one.
Okay, give me a cue, please, Ali.
3, 2, 1, go.
Public demand for education has remained strong, reflecting the importance of education as a means of social progress. Aware of the added value of education to the world of work, the government continues to innovate and update the education system in order to produce a qualified and competent workforce.
This is awesome. Atik, I was tracking your read aloud and I found that you gave some pauses at some punctuation.
Right.
Some of them was short pause, some of them a bit longer. How to use these punctuations?
Okay, so I did tell you, Ali, as I was going to come back to one expectation from Pearson. So again, let's go back to the marking guidelines and the further requirements that Pearson assesses. So these are sub skills that Pearson tests you in. Okay, is that, are you being informative? Are you explaining the context of the paragraph? Right here, it also says that using correct intonation. Now, I also, as you said, that you do intensive research about, what's the trend of the teachers and how are they coaching students. So, and they go on about, intonation this, intonation that. But it's a very simple concept. If you find out, again, if you dig deep into Pearson's marking guideline, what they simply indicate is that your tone must arise when you start off a sentence,
Okay.
and your tone must drop when you simply end a sentence. So this is exactly what I have done. Nothing more, nothing less. So you go, public demand for education has remained strong, reflecting the importance of education as a means of social progress. So you go up, come down. When you near about, come to a punctuation. So this is exactly how one should approach using their tone, using their intonations appropriately. So no singing voice per se, neither do you go fast and that. Intonations cannot be achieved with those advices.
So I shouldn't ignore a pause at any of the punctuations.
Absolutely not. Because
Okay.
come to think about it, Ali, if you do not stop at punctuations, and each and every sentence is independent, right? So it's carrying new information. If you amalgamate two sentences together, the meaning might change, or will definitely
100%.
change, right? But more importantly, you will not have the power, you will not have the breadth to continue reading. That's what we've observed as well, right? So our research also found out, as you can very well remember, is that the students are trying to read as much as they can under one breath. And that's the result why they're making content error, or why they're hesitating. So taking pauses at punctuations, absolutely a necessity.
So I can say now that a full stop is the same as a red light when you drive. When you have
Exactly.
a red light, you need to pause. If you don't pause, you may get a fine. In the worst case, you may get an accident.
Exactly, which is the reason why I've highlighted the punctuations as red color.
This is our red color. So please, guys, make sure to give a pause.
Okay.
What's next?
Let's try one more.
Let me go with that, and I will be doing one after.
Oh, okay. Let me try this one first for you, and then we'll do another one.
3, 2, 1, go.
Have you ever pictured a world without light? Just think how much we rely on man-made light sources in our lives. Without engineers, we wouldn't be able to live the way we do. No street lights, no TV, no computer displays, no house light. Engineers design and build all these things.
All right. I think this is awesome. But still, I have 2 questions.
Sure, go for it.
Where to find out these pauses? I have to give pauses at punctuations. When should I be ready for that? And here I can see in your text some colored patterns by which the beginning of a new color indicates the beginning of a new chunk. Would this happen in the exam? Would I get the same color patterns?
Of course, there wouldn't be any color patterns whatsoever. So this is what we call as giving, introducing intuitive learning. So our research, and this is the product of our research, is that we have color coded it now, just so that our dear students have a better understanding of how to chunk. Now, of course, we are using this as a demonstration. And let's say if the students heeds our advice and then integrates this, taking in time and making those chunks, and then practicing, let's say for the next 2 to 3 days, maybe 50 read alouds. Automatically what's going to happen is that it's going to be integrated naturally, because you see, this is what we call as skill building.
I like
whereby
it.
you're working on it, and then it comes about automatically. That's number 1 point. Number 2 point, Ali, this is the best thing. You have a preparation time before you actually read aloud. So right now we were, directly reading. I was directly reading it. But in the exam, during your preparation, when you're preparing at home, you would get preparation time of 40 seconds, right? It's in that preparation time you fix your chunking and phrasing.
Perfect.
It's simple as that. Okay.
This is great. This is
great.
Great.
All right. Let's get it from an user's end. Okay, a student's perspective.
I'll try to give one. I won't be as good as you.
I'm sure you will be.
Okay.
All right. So 3, 2, 1, go.
Akimbo, this must be one of the odder looking words in the language, and puzzles us in part because it doesn't seem to have any relatives. What's more, it is now virtually a fossil word, until recently almost invariably found in arms akimbo, a posture in which a person stands with hands on hips, and elbows sharply bent outward, one signaling impatience, hostility, or contempt.
Voila. You see how can, what's
Oh my
your
God.
feeling?
I was so
What's your
natural,
feedback?
and I got a lot of spots to just to breathe,
Exactly.
because if I don't have oxygen here, how come I'm gonna speak? How I'm gonna concentrate? So the colors here help me. Like if I'm assuming like I can't guess where is the pause, but by the time I was reaching at the end of each colored phrase, I knew that here it's a long pause. Maybe I can breathe, so I can carry on. And it
Exactly,
was
Ali. So
so smooth.
this was our finding from that research is that
Shout out to Ribat, our leader.
absolutely, and a lot of credit goes to Ribat because we are constantly working day in day out to give the best to our students, and this is the product of our research. So and it just didn't come about instantly in a single day. We've been helping students who have genuine breathing problem, okay, and who are having genuine problems when communicating as a paragraph, as a passage. So which is the reason why we have our speaking content recognition class as well, as you understand, Ali. So where we focus on how to use our how to have a correct voice projection, and how to appropriately place our speech sounds, and how to make those adjustments. So these are all coming together as piece by piece, and this is where we stand, is the art of chunking for read aloud. So I believe that's the discussion for today, and hopefully it was very beneficial for a lot of our students. And I would like to point out is that if you still want a further detailed discussion, feel free to comment below, and we will try to answer to our best abilities. And if you still want to sit down and have a discussion, feel free to get in touch, and we will have a chat.
I got one more question.
Sure, Ali, go for it.
How many read aloud should a student practice a day? This is a question that I keep asking you by the end of each session.
Okay, excellent question. I have also seen templates going around, videos students are making out on let's say a fixed study plan. Okay, that's what I found out. I was doing a bit of research. Ali, if you are natural with your speech rate, if your tones are proper, and you are naturally able to communicate, why would I give you a study plan to do read alouds? Why would I give you a 10 read alouds every day? Why would I give you 20 read alouds every day? But
Okay.
if there is a genuine issue with your voice projection, there is a genuine issue with your communicative aspects of things, without fixing read aloud, how can you jump to the next question in PTE? So totally would depend from student to student, which is the reason why we have customized approach, which is the reason why we have mentorship, we have one-on-one consultations for us to fact find. So our demonstration, or our purpose of today's demonstration, was to give you a perspective into what should you do. And of course, we are more than happy to find out if the things that we've advised you to do, are they getting done or not.
And do you think fixing your read aloud helped to fix the entire speaking tasks?
Definitely. The purpose of the entire speaking section is to have a uniform mode, a uniform approach. So if your read aloud gets fixed, it takes care of all the other areas as well.
That's awesome. Thank you, Atiq, so much.
All right. Thank you, Ali. Any final messages for the students from your side?
From my side, guys, yes, I have one message. It looks like difficult to fix your read aloud, but after having all these resources, and those sessions are one of them, that you are having it almost every weekday at 5 o'clock. So I think nothing is impossible anymore. When there is a will, there will be all the time a way. So we are here the way. Just contact us if you need any help. We are here for your support, and thank you so much. Bye.
Thank you, Ali, and take care, guys. We'll see you next time.